Hi everybody, I'm Joey with Create with Joey. Oops, let me reach up here and make sure my volume is okay. Yeah, I had it turned way down, so I don't know if you could hear me yet. We had a team meeting last night, and we do it on Zoom and in person, so I always have to turn off the sound on my phone so it doesn't echo and kind of make everybody crazy because they can't hear. Hi Jackie, welcome. And I've got you pulled up on my iPad so I can see you there, and I'm going to, hi Diane, I'm going to get you pulled up on my laptop here. How is everybody today? What's everybody been doing today? I have been making cards, coloring and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's after Christmas, you know. I mean, I don't know if you guys go through this, but after Christmas, it's like, it seems like kind of, how do I say it? It's hard to kind of get back in the swing of things. It's like you take a break and then, I don't know, it just seems like I'm behind on everything. It didn't help that I got sick right after Christmas, so that also put me behind. But anyway, all the Christmas stuff is put away except for our tree. I don't know how you guys are doing with that. I hate taking down the tree because, well, it's a chore, but all the light it gives, and it's beautiful, and you look forward to it, and Christmas and all that, and then after Christmas everything is kind of goes dark. So that's not good. Hi to Pam, and yeah, say hi and tell me where you're from when you get on. And if you're watching replay, I'd still love to know what you're doing and where you're from, and I'll come back and respond and say hello to you as well. Hi Christy. All right, all my friends are jumping on, so I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and get stamping. I'm going to click a button here. I'm going to go upside down, and then you'll be right side up. So hang on a second. Here we go. Upside down. And hopefully my phone is going to be positioned in a good place. We move it around. Whoops. We move it around for our demonstrations on Zoom for our team meeting. Looks like I'm kind of getting there. Hold on a second. Let me move this just a touch this way. See if that's a little bit better. Looks like it is. Maybe even just a little bit more. Camera's crooked. Okay, I'm going to be just watching that and see if I can get it straightened around. There, it looks like, whoops, didn't get too much better. Hang on. Let me try that and see if that's better or worse. I think that's worse. Yep, it's worse. So let's go this way. We'll get it. We'll get it before the night's over. And then a little bit this way. And a little bit more this way. There we go. Okay. I've been giving giveaways for these Facebook parties, these online Facebook parties. So I've drawn names depending on, hi Kathy. Kathy's or Diane's making 200 treat holders for the Humane Society fundraiser. Wow, Diane, you should share a picture of what you're making. I would love to see it. Just tag me on it, Joey Evans Hartman, or Create with Joey, and I'll find it and see what you're making. You could even do it on this page. You can go in and comment on this page. Anyway, so I did the drawing. So when you comment and when you share the video, your name goes into a drawing. If you share, you get twice as many tickets in the drawing. And Barb Nelson, haven't seen her come on. Usually she comes on. Barb is getting what are these? Wonderful gems. And she's getting all the cards we made last week. So these are the 3 cards we made last week. If you missed that video, you can go into the video section and look at those. And she's getting, everybody that orders getting, oh, no, this is wrong. Wrong. Barb is getting this. That's what she's getting. And then Christy is getting all the rest of this. So Christy's getting the In Color Square Gems. We had this on a card last night in my group. Hold on, let me grab it. our team swaps every month, and this is the card one of my team members made last night for the card swap, and she used these little squares. They catch the light, they're faceted, they're just really pretty. So Christy, that's coming to you. And then Christy, you are getting all of the cards that we made last week and a packet. Everybody that ordered, I don't have all the packets out here because I'm just going to show you one. But when you order, you get supplies for all of the cards that I'm making. If you order $35 or more, if you order $50 or more, you get a celebration item, plus all the make and take supplies, plus a PDF tutorial of everything that I made last week. So this is a PDF tutorial of all those cards. Those haven't been sent out via email, and these packets haven't been sent out. I just finished the packets today. So those will go out hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. And then with every $50 order, you'll also get a bonus January tutorial bundle. There are lots of gorgeous cards in this packet of 28, I think. Yep, 28 projects of new project ideas of new products. So Barb, yay, oh, you are on, Barb. I hadn't seen you. Hi, Ross. Nice to see you, too. All right, we're ready to get stamping. Let me get this put aside. All right, girls, here we go. I am going to use this one. Now, I did show this one, oh, just last week we used it, but we're going to use it again, because I'm going to show you a coloring technique. Now this is something that one of my team members did, and I went wow over it. I went, oh my gosh, seriously? So I'll show you what she did. We're going to do what she did. This is my friend and teammate, team member Bonnie Hirschfeld. This is her card. I'm just really casing what she did. So I'm taking a piece of, this is shimmery white. So I think all the things I'm coloring on tonight, except one, no, that's not true, but 2 of the 4 I'm using shimmery white, because if you're ever in doubt, that's the cardstock you should use. It holds the ink on top of the paper a little bit longer for you to be able to spread it with whatever medium whatever tool you're using, whether you're using a blender pen, and I'm not talking about blends markers now, blender pen, and I'll show you what that is. We're gonna color with the blender pen on this very card, actually. So this is 3 1/2, I think. Nope, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I inked up, I might just make sure I got that inked up. I'm inking up with Granny Apple Green. Bonnie did this technique, and I said, how did you make that work? I said, why didn't all the colors blend together? She said, well, I just was really careful when I colored. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we're stamping Granny Apple Green. Normally when you're using a blender pen, you don't want to be coloring on water, what am I trying to say, on a water-based ink, which all of our colored stamp pads are water-based. No, I don't know. I don't like the way that's stamped. I'm going to redo that. Let's just turn it over, and we're going to redo that. I don't think I got quite enough ink on it. This stamp, there's a lot of flat surfaces on it. Okay, hi, thank you for sharing. Thanks so much. Oh, hi, Bonnie, this is Bonnie's card. She's on tonight, so this is all hers. She posted it and shared it with us last night on our team page, and I went, oh my gosh, that's a wow. So I asked her if I could share it, and she said I could. So this is Bonnie's card. So I'm going to push a little harder and put a little more pressure on this and make sure I ink that really well. For what we're going to do, I didn't want it to be quite that light. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. This is a distinctive stamp, meaning that it has a lot of dimension to it. So it's going to have a lot of, let's see if it's, well, I'm not sure it is any better, actually. Oh well, we'll use this side then because it's had more of a chance to dry, so we'll go on that side. So if you're going to try this, you want to make sure that you do give your ink, your initial ink, plenty of time to dry. So now we're going to take Highland Heather. Barb, this is one of your colors. And we're going to just take, now these are blender pens. These have tip at each end that has a solution in it that you can use for coloring. And you get 3 of these in a pack when you order them. So actually you get 6 pens for your order. I'm going to go ahead and dip my blender pen actually just right into my ink pad. And now can you see like all these light spaces? That's where we're going to start coloring. So I'm at the top of my petal here and I'm going to bring the color down. Now in a blender pen, unlike a marker, as you keep coloring, it loses the color, which is the beauty of it for this kind of a technique. So you just are going to start where it's the most white, and then if you get into the green a little bit, you're going to take some scrap paper or just on whatever you're coloring on and just clean your pen off a little bit. Just, you don't want that green ink going into your Highland Heather ink pad. But I'm just going into the top of these petals, grabbing ink, and since I'm on Whisper White, not Whisper White, Shimmery White, it really goes, well, how do I want to say, it's really blends easily. It moves across the cardstock really well, and it doesn't get in a smudge. A lot of times, if you're coloring on basic white, and you could do this on watercolor paper too, but it's harder on watercolor paper to get a solid image like this. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do that. Now I'm not going to color this whole thing because I actually have one done that you can look at. Okay, so, but that's how you do it. So you just start up here. When you get to a big petal like this one, you could do this with any color ink because there's a lot of white space on this particular stamp, and I'm working myself into the green a little bit. Now when I go into the green, this is water-based, this is water-based, so it's going to start blending, which some cases you want, but I don't want any green on my pen, so I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to start over at the top of this petal and come down, and the same thing over and over again. So that's all there is to it. That's the only color I used on this card. It's the only color Bonnie used. And I'll show you one other thing that she did that I did as well on mine. And then I'll show you the finished card. So then we're going to go to, oops, just put my whole hand in the ink pad. Which you don't want to have happen because then ink goes on everywhere where you don't want it. So another blending medium that we have are the brushes. So these brushes come in a pack of 3. So I'm going to take I'm going to go back to my Highland Heather. Looks like I'm getting out of your picture a little bit. Let me move my camera just a touch, maybe. I'm going to go back to my Highland Heather, and I'm going to take my, gosh, I keep putting my hand in my ink. What's going on? Okay, getting a little ink here. Then I'm starting way off my paper because I don't want too much color on the end of this, and I'm blending into the outside of my cardstock. Okay, can you see that? It's barely getting any color, which I rather have less than too much. So I'm going just on the edges here. I tap it off on my paper first, and then I come into my card blending until I don't have any more ink on my brush, or very little. Coming back again, tap, tap, tap. Hi Karen, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me tonight, everybody. It's fun to have company. Make sure you keep commenting. For every comment, you get a ticket in the drawing for getting the cards and whatever I'm giving away. Okay, so etc., etc. See what's happening there? Okay, so in the finished product, let me take out my finished card. you're going to have, where is it? Okay, so then you have this. Isn't that beautiful? Bonnie, it's just so pretty. I just fell in love with that when I saw it, so I had to make it. Then she took the marble, the new Marvelous paper. That is one of the celebration choices. You can get a 6x6 pack of the something Marvelous. I don't have my book in front of me, but I think it's Marvel. What is it called? You guys know probably. Oh, thank you, Anne. Hi, Pam. Oh, thanks so much. No, you haven't shared very much. No. So this is the marble paper. So one side is a lot lighter, and it is a little more marbly, like this. And here's the purple we're using tonight. We're also going to use another color. I actually stole 2 of Bonnie's cards. One is her swap card, and I'm going to do that one tonight too. So these are the colors of the Marvelous paper. And then on the back, it's a little more swirled, like, you know, like you took, this reminds me of the shaving cream technique where you put shaving cream on a paper plate and then you drop droplets of re-inker in, and then you move it around with like a knife and make a swirly pattern. Anyway, it kind of reminds me of that. So let's go on to this one. We're going to go ahead and put down we're going to put it on the lighter, the side that's more like marbling. And I'm going to get this down. This is a piece of Highland Heather cardstock. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Put that down like that. Then we're going to, before we go too far, let's go ahead and get our greeting done. So in this stamp set, there are lots of greetings. I love that there's lots of greetings. There's happy birthday. There's I'm thinking of you. I love to be your friend. You make me smile. We're going to do I love being your friend, which we've got adhesive here somewhere. And we're going to take back out our Highland Heather ink and ink it up. And we're going to just stamp down here. Oops, I kind of smeared it. Let's try it again. There we go. Because our paper is going to go into the punch like this. I'll show you. Okay, Bonnie, I don't remember. You told me the name of this punch about 5 minutes ago, and I don't remember. It looks like this. It has a little place where you can punch like a ribbon slot, and then a little hole where you can punch for a tag. We're just gonna do the greeting. We don't care about that other stuff. So I'm just gonna center this in here. Okay, punch it out. Then I'm gonna take my blending brush again and my Highland Heather again, and we're going to go ahead and just label me fancy. Label me fancy, thank you. We're going to just take our brush along the edge of our tag. Whoops, I forgot to dab it off that time. See what happens if you don't. You get a little bit of a burst of color, and maybe you don't want a burst of color. So we're gonna tap this off. And then you can use a sponge dauber for this too. Last week we used a sponge dauber in that video, so if you missed it, you can go back and see what that's all about. But we're just using our brush, and it just puts a little bit of an outline. When I first started stamping, I thought that, like 16 or 17 years ago, I thought this was the biggest wow technique of all. I thought it was just the coolest thing. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of Highland Heather ribbon. This is in the annual catalog. It's grosgrain ribbon. I think it's called grosgrain ribbon, but the color is Highland Heather. So I'm going to just wrap this around here like so. Yeah, Bonnie, I saw it. I knew you were talking about a punch. You know, that's autocorrect everywhere. It's always auto incorrect. It always makes some weird kind of a word up. Okay, so when I'm tying, I'm gonna just tie this in a knot, not a bow, because it's a little bit bulky for a bow, for a card that you're gonna send in the mail. So I'm gonna go straight up with my tails like this, and I'm gonna just hold this around like this, and pull this side, this little free side through. And then I'm gonna try and keep this flat. See how this is flat? And as I'm pulling on the right, not so much the left, in order to help to keep that flat. And then I like to kind of stick my fingers in here and kind of pull again, and that kind of makes the bow kind of, what I want to say, kind of, I don't know, bend like I want it to bend. I guess there's no fancy word for it, just, it gives it a little fluff, I guess, to get my fingers under there like that. And I'm just trimming it. Let me trim this just a little bit more. Like this, okay? So we've got that. Then let me clean this stamp before I get it. Hi Glenda, welcome. Get this cleaned off. And then let's go ahead and get this on our card, get everything put together. Okay, so we're gonna grab, we still have the inside to do. We'll do that as soon as we finish this outside. I'm gonna grab my Stampin' Dimensionals and get some down. I did a workshop, well, we called it a craft day, with my, I grew up in Colorado, not too far from where Bonnie lives actually. And all my high school friends except one now, I think, are back in that area. So we did a little craft day in the afternoon with them, and I cut up a lot of dimensional sheets in half. There were about 10 that came, I think, 8 or 10 that came. So I cut up, you know, they don't have adhesives. So I cut my dimensionals in half. Okay, so there's that. And then let's go ahead and just put our greeting down here. I think I'm gonna put my dimensionals right on my greeting panel so that I know that I missed the ribbon. I don't like to put dimensionals on ribbon. Okay, like so. Then I'm gonna do one more step on this. I want to grab my Wink of Stella, and we're gonna Wink of Stella these petals, because you're already on shimmery white, and then I'm gonna come in here and just use my Wink of Stella. Now Wink of Stella can also be used to color with, because it's also, there's some water in it, I think, because it moves your ink, so you do have to be a little careful if you want. Yeah, it's not picking up too much ink, it's just going over the top, so that's good. And I don't know if you can see this in the monitor. You probably can't see the shimmer. I'm looking at my own monitor. I'll hold it up once I finish it, and so you can see how shimmery it is. I've been doing a lot of Wink of Stella lately. I don't know why, I just love it. So it's just so pretty. I'm putting it everywhere that I have lavender ink, Highland Lace. I don't know if you can you see? I hope you can see it. In person, it's just so gorgeous. It's just so pretty. So thank you so much, Bonnie. Oh, Pam, purple is your favorite color too? No, you can't go wrong with purple. I'd say pink is my favorite color, but purple is hanging in there really, really high on the list. Let's do a little bit on the inside of our card, and then we're going to go on to our next one. So I'm taking another stamp from that set, and I'm going back to our Granny Apple Green. I like to tie in the colors from the front of the card to the inside of the card if I can. So I'm going to take this little, ink up this little stamp, and I'm just going to go right here in the corner like that. And then we'll go back to our greeting. And we'll put our greeting in Highland Heather. Then we have both of the colors inside that we have outside. So let me grab, we're gonna do You Make Me Smile. That's from the same stamp set. So the front is You Are My Friend, or I Love Being Your Friend, and You Make Me Smile. There we go. Just gonna go across like that. And you actually got it pretty straight. Not bad. Not bad at all. Do you ever get a whole card done and then you go to do the sentiment and you get it crooked? Anybody? Anybody out there? Did that ever happen too? Okay, we're gonna go ahead. We're finished with this one. We're just gonna go ahead and put it on the inside of the card. And we have a beautiful card. I'd love to know if you try this technique. I wouldn't have tried it had I not seen Bonnie's card. I would have thought that it would have made a muddy mess trying to put purple ink on top of green, but it turned out so pretty. I'm so happy with it, Bonnie. Thank you so much. It was just so fun to make this card. And we're actually going to another one of Bonnie. This is Bonnie's swap card. So this is, I guess, a tribute to Bonnie night. I've got a little piece of, this is also shimmery white because we're going to also color on this girl. Now, I had questions about watercoloring. So, I mean actual watercoloring. So, we're going to use StazOn ink on this and we're going to do actual watercoloring because I've had some people ask about it saying that they're struggling with it. So, we're going to do some tonight. I'm taking my StazOn black. And then I'm taking this little girl again. Oh, sorry, not again. We haven't looked at this stamp set. So this is the Catching Butterflies. This is also free with a $50 order. There are several celebration sets that are line art, meaning, you know, they're outlines. They're not solid stamps. And so I think there's going to be a lot of need for coloring. So that's why I wanted to come on tonight and share some coloring ideas. Because we have lots of ways to color. I think sometimes we just get, this is driving me nuts, girls, so I got to get this off. There's adhesive right here and it's catching on everything. If you roll, you can roll adhesive off usually. And if you can't get it completely off and it's bugging you, like this is bugging me, you can take, well, if you don't have a embossing buddy, you can take this little slight bit of cornstarch and you can just put it over it, and then that takes away that stickiness. I don't like to stamp on a surface that has any stickiness on it. Okay, let's try that again. When you're using StazOn, you really have to be sure that your pad is well inked, so, or brand new, one of the two, because you just want to make sure that you have, put her up a little bit further, a lot of ink on it. Now, I could have used my Stamparatus. I didn't think about using it. I should have, because then if I don't get this, StazOn's a little bit notorious for not getting everything inked completely. Oh, we did good with that, so we're good. And now for cleaning StazOn ink, when I'm first working with it, you know, right now I'm not putting my stamp away yet. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. I do use our standard cleaners. So I go ahead and I keep one side wet and the other side dry. But I like to get that StazOn off as soon as I can. Now it's going to stain your stamps. So you're going to, before I put these away tonight, I'm going to get out my StazOn cleaner, which is in the annual catalog. It looks like this. And I'm just going to rub it on my stamp. I'm not going to do that right now, but it takes off all the ink. And it's just good to keep StazOn off of your ink, off of your stamps. It's fabulous for watercoloring. It's a must for your collection of ink pads. But there are things you have to do to care for your stamps. And I forgot a couple things. So we want the butterfly. And then we're going to also do the grass and the greeting. We're going to do the grass in StazOn. So I'm going to just ink this guy up, and we're going to go kind of down here in the corner like so. So it doesn't look like she's just flying through the air. She's got a little bit of ground underneath her. Then let's take our butterfly and we're gonna just do a little butterfly up here like so. And we'll give that a chance to dry. I'm gonna set it aside just so it reminds myself to let it sit for a minute. But the stamps I'm not gonna let sit, so I'm gonna clean those right away. So I'd like to know in the comments, those of you that like to color, what is your favorite way to color? Is it blends markers? Is it watercolor pencils? Is it blender pens with ink pads like we did on the first card we made? Is it straight up watercoloring like I'm going to be doing with this little girl? What is your favorite way? So I need to grab a scrap paper. Thought I had one here. And we're going to go ahead and stamp the greeting. I'm going to go ahead and use StazOn for that because I'm going to use, this is wrong, the wrong paper. Well, I thought I had shimmery white here. I want it to match. See how the white's a little bit brighter? I don't know if that shows up on camera, but I want shimmery white for this, so I need to grab that back out. I used to love to just straight watercolor using StazOn ink and using the method I'm going to show you tonight. That was my favorite. Then I think my second favorite was coloring or using watercolor pencils and a blender pen, which I'm also going to show you tonight. If you've never seen that, we're gonna go over how to do that too. I do love the blends markers, the alcohol markers. When I'm in a hurry, that's what I'm going to grab for sure. If I have time, I love to watercolor. I'm going to use a punch. We don't sell these any longer. This is a 1.5 inch punch. But you can use your circle, your layering circle punches. I'm just doing this because it's fast. So, and I wanted my image, my greeting to be in shimmery white. Sorry, I'm trying to think of two things and my mouth isn't catching up with me. Or my brain isn't catching up with my mouth. Okay, we've let her sit a little while, so I think we can start to watercolor. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm taking a little bit of petal, no, that's Blushing Bride, so I don't want that yet. Oh dear, did I put away my petal pink? I had it out here. Well, you know what we're going to do? I'll show you what I do sometimes. I've got my re-inkers out here, so we're going to use those for the other colors. But sometimes I just squeeze, push on my ink pad. We used to do this a long time ago. And then you get some ink in your, the top of your ink pad lid. And let me grab, for this I want my brush. Okay, so these are our water painters. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, water painters. And there's 3 tips on these. So I'm using the smallest one that comes with the group. And then there's one that's just a little bit longer. You can see that this one's quite a bit longer. And then this one is for big, broad areas. I haven't actually used this one yet, but I haven't been watercoloring, honestly, for a long time because as much as I love it, I'm usually in a rush to make stuff, so I don't sometimes take time, and we don't do watercoloring. Oops, why won't this go in my class? Might have the wrong, yeah, I had the wrong lid. There we go. Okay, well, we'll get these put away later. Wanted to show you for now. So I'm just going to go into my lid here, and I'm going to take a little bit of this color, and I'm going to go out into where there's no color. So here's the ink into the color, and that's actually to kind of try and make sure that I'm not getting a real solid color. But I'm going to come back to my scrap paper, and I'm going to actually go off. I just want to make sure I don't have too much water. In fact, what's better, this is what I use today, so it's a hot mess, but I like to use a paper towel, and often I actually usually dampen it. This one is not going to be damp because I just don't want a blob of color. That's where I think two things go wrong with watercoloring. One, too much water on your brush. So your brush cannot have a lot of water on it because you lose control of it. So I'm just going to get a little bit, I just want a little bit of color on her face. So I'm just kind of going around the edges, and there's a lot of, this particular brush, there's a lot of water coming out of it. So I want to make sure I don't get too much water. Then I'm going to go back into my ink here, and I'm going to go on this side of her face because I'm thinking that she's running towards the sun. So we want this side of her face to be a little bit darker than this side of her face. I'm going to make sure to get her ear. I'm going back in here to my well. I'm not picking up any more water at all, and I haven't added any more color, but I'm just working my way from the darker color into the right side of her face. I'm going to pick just a little bit more, come down here and move it a little bit here, and still a little bit on her ear. Her neck, I'm going to grab just a teeny bit of more color, and her little hands are tiny. Her little hands are teeny tiny. Okay, but there's a really fine tip on this. You could not do this very well with a blends marker. I'm just saying, even the thin end on it, the fine tip end is wider than that. Okay, so now she has a good color, and it looks like I didn't get color in her eye. At first I thought maybe I did, but I didn't, so that's good. Okay, so that was our lightest color. That's how I usually start. I usually pick my lightest color. Then I'm going to go to Blushing Bride. Okay, so we're going to make her dress Blushing Bride. So this is what I do for this. Got to get everything out here. So I take my ink refill and I put just a tiny drop on a glass block. So this is going to become my palette, so to speak. Then I'm going to just put and again, I'm going from the color towards nothing. So from the color out, okay? Then I'm going to start on this side because we said the sun was going to come in on the other side. And what I actually usually do, although I haven't been watercoloring for so long, I forgot to do it, is actually just use my wet brush first on whatever I'm going to color. So I'm moving from dark to light, okay, like so. I'm just getting that fine point in there on her dress, moving it around, okay. And I want it to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go, I think I'm going to get just a tiny bit more ink on here, just another little, just barely a drop. You can always go back and add more, you just can't take it away. Okay, it's going to start back over here again. I always go from the darker part to the lighter. Even if this is where I want more color, I'm still going to start in the darker part and then just keep adding more color like that. It's a little bit more. Okay, and then there's a lot of water coming out of this brush, so when that happens, you just keep daubing it off a little bit on a paper towel or something like that. Okay, so there's her pretty pink dress and Blushing Bride. Then let's go ahead and do her net. So now we're going to grab, whoops, I still need that. We're going to grab this. Hi, Pam. Karen, you like using a water painter on the stamp pad lid? Yeah, I like to do that too. Jackie, let me see what you're doing here. You started to use watercolor pencils, now blends. Blender pen. Yeah, the blender pen, honestly, that's what I'm showing tonight, both the blender pen and the blender pen and the water painters, because they're usually the trickiest. They're where people struggle. Okay, this is Pool Party. Again, I'm going from the dark to the light, and I'm spreading out that color so I don't have a big blob. So we said this is going to be the darker part where there's more shade on our image, and then we're just going to work our way into her little net, dark to light. And now I probably could use actually a little more water. So I'm actually pushing down a little bit more on my pen to get that water that's closer to the top of the water that's up here. I want that to get into my image so it spreads the color a little bit more. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're doing this. And I'm just kind of going back over to get the splotchy spots. Okay, like so. That's really, I think, all we need to do. I didn't get right to the edge here, so I'm going to go back with this very, very fine tip and go right along the edge. I'm not gathering any more water, and I'm not gathering any more ink. Okay? Very subtle. The trick is to just go slow with minimal amounts of water and minimal amounts of color. Okay? Okay. Now I'm going to do what I said I was going to do before, which was color the area first that I'm going to, or wet the area first that I'm going to color. So I'm going back, this now we're going to do her hair. So I'm going to soft suede. And I'm going to, this time I'm going to squeeze my water pen out onto my paper. I'm not going to put it there because I don't, this particular pen wants to let out a lot of water at one time, and I don't want it to do that. Oops, I said I was going to go over first with a just plain water. So to clean it, I'm just squeezing out the water. Now, this is what I usually do, actually. I just haven't watercolored for so long. I usually go over where I'm going to color first with just the water pen and kind of get that ready to accept color. I think I did find it, the net got a little splotchy, but this will help prevent that. So I'm going to just turn this so I can see. This is soft suede, and again, as I said, this pen wants to really let out a lot of water, so I'm going to keep dabbing it off. I can always go back and add more water and more color, but I can't take it off. Okay, so now I'm working off the water actually, because I still have a lot of water on the tip, and I'm just working this towards the back of her hair. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit more water, or color rather, and I'm going to go from where her hair would be pretty dark right here, and I'm working it out towards the ends. I don't profess to be the world's best watercolorer, so there are some of you probably that might have better methods than I use, but I have done it quite a bit. And as I said, my favorite coloring medium for many years was this, using ink and the water pen. Okay? All right, there we go. Now let's do a little bit of pink on the butterfly. I'm going to just squeeze my pen to get rid of the water. We can use a little place here that doesn't have any ink. We're going to make the butterfly pink. We can have a pink butterfly. Okay, I'm going to just check this. There we go. Then I'm going to go back in. As I said, you might be able to see all the water coming off of this pen. Can you see it? There's a lot of water right there in the corner. It's not there now because it's sunk in. So when that happens, again, I'm just going back and getting rid of, I'm not squeezing at all. I'm going back and I'm going to pick up a little more color because I want the butterfly to just be a little bit more pink. Just a darker pink. There we go. Okay? Now, if you do get a big blob of water, it's still not going to be destroyed. You can actually just hold your paper towel down and just put it next to that water spot. Now, I don't really have that happening right now, but if I did, I would, and the paper towel would absorb it up off the image, and you don't have to worry about it running or ruining your image, especially after you spent all this time on it. You don't want it to be wrecked by one drop of water moving around on your image. Okay, I'm going to Pear Pizzazz for the grass. And then I'm just going to grab a little Pear Pizzazz. That's going to be pretty dark. So I'm going to rub this off again and try it like this. And I'm just basically just making scraggly movements for the grass because that's kind of how the grass is. It's just kind of scraggly. But this little bit of grass, I love these little stamps that give texture and dimension to what we're working on. They just make such a difference. There's our grass, and there's our girl. She's all done. Let's go ahead and let me find the lid to this and get that taken care of. You know what we're doing here? We're coloring small spaces, but if you're coloring big spaces, that's another thing that's fun to do, is make a watercolor splashy background, which is color in the background, and you make, you get something like the marbly paper. That's kind of what you end up getting. I want to get this all out here so I don't wreck anything. And then we're going back to the marble paper again, and this time, I'm not sure. On my card, well, let me show you mine. So this is the one I did earlier, and I used this darker marbly side, but on Bonnie's swap card, she used the lighter one. What do you think? One or the other? Do you think the lighter background or the darker background for this? While you're telling me in the comments, it always takes Facebook a while, I'm going to go ahead and Wink of Stella. Let's get it back out. Let's get some more sparkle going here. Okay, I'm going to squeeze my Wink of Stella. It's not actually going to be on my hand. I'm going to go over here, but I'm just showing you. I'm going to squeeze it to get a little bit more Wink of Stella in the tip of the pen. Now sometimes it'll actually drip out and you'll get a big drip, which is why I'm doing it like this. And actually this might be my older pen. I think I can see it moving down, so it's moving down. Okay, we're gonna go with that. And I'm gonna do her dress. So let's get her dress all sparkly. And you tell me what in the darker, the dark, Kathy says dark, Barb says dark. Who else is, Jackie, darker. Oh, you used the gray on one of the little girl cards, Bonnie, are you saying? Are you talking about the marvelous paper, Bonnie? Okay, so we're Wink of Stella in her dress because you can't have too much shimmer, right? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. It's really pretty. Those of you that have used Wink of Stella, you know what the wow factor it gives. I love it, love it, love it. All right, so looks like we, oh, and another version, Simply Marvelous, yes. Okay, so looks like we're gonna use the darker one. That's what I did with mine too. You know, sometimes I'll make a card and I'll really love it, and the next day I'll come back and think, oh, I think I would have liked, like it turned around, or like the other side of the paper, or something like that. But that's the fun of creating. We're working with paper and ink, so you know what, it's just fun. We can do whatever we want to because it's the only reason we're doing it is for fun. All right, now we're going to take, this is another way to color. We're going to take a sponge dauber, and this doesn't look like pink. I think I better check this before I need to go to my Blushing Bride, because I don't want to dip this in my Blushing Bride. Oh, it looks like it is Blushing Bride, so I think we're okay. Okay, so if this is what I was saying earlier, instead of your blending brush, you can take your sponge dauber and you can edge it. What do we call this, girls? It's not called edging. What is it called when we color the edges of our cardstock? These are some things I did early on stamping. I know I talked about that tonight. that I love to do, and then you get away from it. I've gotten away from sponging. There we go. It's called sponging. Did somebody already put that? Pam, you can never have too much glitz. Oh, yeah, I know. Wink of Stella is the best. It's the bomb. In fact, Bonnie on our team, she had high sales last month, and I sent her a Wink of Stella. I sent her a Wink of Stella because I thought, you can't have too many Wink of Stellas hanging around. I always keep at least one spare. I go in spurts where I use it all the time, and then I give it a rest for a while. All right, we're done with our little girl. Let's put some ribbon. I did this exactly like Bonnie did it on hers. I grabbed the white ribbon. This is something I sometimes kind of struggle with, this particular way of doing ribbon. But this is how, I'll show you how I do it. I'm covering the back of this greeting tag with pretty much covering it with an adhesive. So it's going to hold the ribbon in place. Okay, so it does make it really sticky. And then I'm going to just, I'm going to look at the front so I can kind of see where this is going to come off. And I'm going to go about like that. Okay, then I'm going to turn it over and I can look and see what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to make like a V, what do you call it? Or a loop, maybe is a better word. I'm going to make a loop. Come back over here. Then make another loop. And the ribbon's going to kind of turn downwards so it goes off my card kind of like this. Like so, from the back. And then you can look in the front. If you don't like it, you can rearrange it a little bit. We're going to call that good, I think. And we're going to just trim this off. And then, I do love the way this ribbon looks. You know, it sticks to my hands. It's so fine and delicate. And it clings to everything. But once I get it on, I really love the way it looks. So, beauty it's painful, my Aunt Sally used to say. So same in cards, beauty it's painful. If it's going to be beautiful, sometimes you have to go through some pain to get it to look the way you want it to. Let's put her on the card first though. Okay, let's put her some dimensionals on her panel. Put this on here. So let me know in the comments if you've learned sponging. Yeah, I see it, Kathy. I know. Or burnishing. Yeah, that will work too. Sponging. Yeah, I know I called it sponging, and you know, way back when we called it sponging. Now we don't carry those sponges anymore, but we still do the same technique. Let me know in the comments where you've learned anything. If you've seen anything new that I've shown you tonight, let me know. Or anything that you didn't know at all, didn't know anything about. I have two friends in Colorado that are longtime friends. They're my high school, well, we were friends in grade school on through high school and still friends. They are just starting stamping. And so I did want to actually, my purpose for the video was twofold. Was one, to show them, you know, things they can do as they go along, new ways to use their stamps. Let's put some of the iridescent basic jewels. Let's bling her up really good. So they would have something to refer to if they wanted to learn some things about how to color. But I also thought for everybody, I don't know if you've gotten away from coloring with watercolors and blender pens the same way I have gotten away from it. So I thought maybe it'd be good to, you know, do a little refresher. So if I'm showing you anything new, I would be, or something that you go, oh, I remember doing that. I think I'll do that again. Something that makes you excited about trying some of these things again. Okay, this is our little girl. And then we had another swap card. 2 swap cards last night actually, with with this same little girl. So here's one of them using the Valentine paper. And this person did paper piecing with the Valentine paper, and then she's got the little girl catching hearts. I thought that was so adorable. And this one is another really pretty one, and she blends markers to color hers. So, and magenta. This is magenta. So I think this little girl is going to be really popular. Like half of our swaps last night were using her. So that was kind of fun. All right. How are we doing? Everybody still there with me? Okay. Before I do I have 2 more cards for you. Before I do those, I just wanted to do a little review on this. This is my class that's coming up. This is my Be Creative Club. And I use Expressions in Ink paper, and I use the ephemera pack. And I just love these cards. I've waited to use that pack of paper because it kept selling out. So I waited and waited and waited. It's also now on low inventory, but I pre-ordered some packages of it so that I would have some. But if you're interested in that class, it's my Be Creative Club. It's only, you don't have to, there's no obligation to it. You can take it as a class, or you can take it as a part of a club. If you take it 6 months, that's the club part. You get $25 in free product. So when you take the class, you get about $20 in product, and it costs $41. That includes shipping and all the supplies for all the cards. So I'm excited about that. Let me know. I'll put a sign up or a link for you to get more information about it. Not to sign up, but to just actually see the email that gives the information about it if you're interested. This is, if you're not familiar with Stampin' Up, or if you're new to us, this is what I'm talking about. I did use this stamp set, Flowing Flowers, but if you've been with Stampin' Up for a while and you have this one, if you're a Stampin' Up customer, this is the one that actually is paired with this in the catalog. So, but I wanted to use it with Flowing Flowers. This is a new stamp in the January through June catalog. And then you'll also get a bolt of gold ribbon. This is sold out right now, but it's supposed to be in by the time I have to order. And then the ephemera pack with this is just stunning. I had not used this because I couldn't, this was also selling out all the time. But all these little leaves and things, and then they give you a whole pack of sequins. These are iridescent sequins. I'm just so excited about these cards. I just can't even tell you how excited I am. I had so much fun making them. So if you're interested in that, let me know right away, because I want to get paper ordered right away. This is that pack of paper. Every page has gold leafing on it, or gold accents on it, on one side. So this is all the paper. Can't get them all in the view at the same time. And then on the back are these kind of watercolor images as well. Kind of like some of the things we're doing tonight, only more kind of watercolor background type thing. Anyway, so you get half a pack of that, get the whole ephemera pack, and get a bolt of ribbon and all the card supplies for that. So let me know if you're interested in that. Okay, let's keep going here. So we're going to go this time now to, gosh, hold on, can't find, we're going to use this. Now I know I said tonight was going to be celebration, but all three of the 4 cards are celebration. This is a stamp set in the January through June catalog called Blessings of Home. We were able to actually order this early as demonstrators if we attended an on stage, which is a virtual conference. It's like a convention sort of. And I'm not gonna do this whole card for you, but I am gonna show you the coloring method that I used on this. And we're gonna do a little coloring. So this, I stamped this in Memento Black. Now, I'm gonna give you the positive and negative of this. So I stamped it in Memento Black. We're gonna color with pencils. So let me grab my pencils. These are both in the catalog. You can tell how old my set is because it's got the old packaging on it. But did I take out my pencils I'm using? Yeah, I did take them out. So so we wouldn't have to look for them. I'm going to do a little coloring. I did a little ahead of time just because I don't think you need to sit and watch me color forever and ever. But this is how I also used to love to do this. So I'm just taking my watercolor pencils and I'm not being real precise about how I'm coloring my image. This one is called Night of Navy, but it's not really as dark as our ink pad Night of Navy. And I'm just getting the color down on the image. I'm not really caring too much if it's, you know, not smooth at all. I'm going to color everything that is blue. So see this flower is all going to be blue too. So let me color that one. Had to look at my sample to remember what I colored what color. So I'm just getting the color down here. Now, if you're on a budget, which, you know, most of us are on some kind of a budget, but, you know, if you're really trying to build up your collection and you want to color, but you don't want to invest in Blends markers, because let's face it, you know, it's $9 for 2 markers. So if you want to have 5 or even 6 colors, you've got a little investment already. So these are inexpensive. These are like, oh, I didn't look up the price, but I will look them up. They're very inexpensive, and you get a bunch of colors. So you can invest in watercolor pencils, and you can do a lot of coloring. This is Garden Green. We'll get a lot of different colors for not very much money. So, and you know, if you're investing in ink refills and blender pens, so you can do what we did on the first card, you also have a little bit of investment in that. So I'm just kind of going over. I did some of this earlier, obviously. Then I'm going to, let's see, we're going to have a Calypso Coral flower here. So it is a more economical way to start coloring with Stampin' Up. It's best to use a StazOn ink pad. I got daring and I used my Memento, but I also let it dry a long time. And the reason is because the Memento is water-based, as we've been talking about. Water-based ink will smear. These are water-based, the blender pens are water-based, and these are watercolor pencils. So you're better off, you're safer by using StazOn ink when you're watercoloring. And this isn't watercoloring, but it is watercoloring, okay? Because we're going to use water to actually move the ink. Well, the crayon, the color. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going over my flower centers just a little bit. So the colors I have here are Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, Night of Navy, and Garden Green. Okay, looks like we need a little more blue over here. Okay, but it's not solid. I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't have to have it solidly colored at all. Now I'm going to just take my blender pen and I'm going to start moving this color. See, isn't that beautiful? How the blender pen just moves the color and it just blends. I mean, that's why it's called a blender pen. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So, and it's very, what can I say? It's very satisfying. You know, all those streaks and splotchiness, they just go away. They just go completely away. And you get this beautiful blended watercolory look. I probably could have done a little less crayon because it's getting pretty solid. I'm talking to you instead of actually thinking about what I'm doing, but normally I would put more color at the inside of the flower and less on the leaves, and then blend it out to have a little bit more lightness on the leaves. So unfortunately I didn't do that, but you get the idea of how this works. If you do make a mistake, they are crayons, so you can actually sometimes erase a little. So I think what I'm going to do to just show you that technique is I'm going to take off a little bit of the ink on the ends of these blue flowers right here, so you can kind of see what I was talking about by having more color on the inside and then working it towards the outside with less. But blender pens are lots of fun. As I showed you earlier, you can dip a blender pen in your ink pad to get color and change colors that way. Or you can use it like I'm using it with just right over watercolor pencils like this. Listen how pretty that is, so pretty. Then when you're changing colors, this is really important. You need a this is how you clean your blender pen. You just wipe it on your paper until you don't see any more of that color. I'm gonna go to my yellow because I wanna keep that pure yellow and not take a chance on getting darker colors into my yellow. I'm gonna try and hurry this up a bit so you're not just sitting here watching me color. Okay, now we'll go to Calypso Coral. Just mush it around. That's all you have to do. Just touch it with your blender pen. I'm going to try and stay away from my yellow though. I'm not going over the top of the yellow because I don't want that to mix with the orange. I want my colors to stay pure. So now if you love to color, this is your thing, because this stamp set has a lot of coloring. You don't have to color. In fact, I'll show you a card I started that doesn't have any coloring on it. In fact, it's in gray ink. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off my blender pen and now we'll do the leaves. I'm gonna do them really fast so we can finish our card. Just get them blended a little bit. But as I said, you don't have to have as much color even on as I have. You can let it be even more streaky because you can see how far the color goes. With your watercolor pencil, the color goes a long, long way. Okay, I think we've got everything colored there. See how pretty that is? Isn't that pretty? I think this stamped image itself is just gorgeous. Okay, so let's go on and make our card. I'm going to grab, Bonnie says assortment 1 has 13 colors. And Bonnie, can you give the prices on those? I meant to look them up. Assortment 1 has 13 colors, assortment 2 has 10. So, yeah, so here you are. Okay, so here's assortment 2, and then this one has a few more. This one shows, well, they both show on the back what colors they have, and they're in the annual catalog. Or if you want to look in the online store, you can find them in the online store too. So let's just finish this card. There's not much more to it. I'm going to grab there's a little strip of Night of Navy. I just want a little bit of this navy peeking out. I don't want too much. Maybe just 1/8 of an inch or so. Then we're going to take our pattern paper. See if I did this like I wanted to do it. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, this is from that group. Did I get this paper out? No, not yet. So this, gosh, I cannot remember the name of one thing tonight. What is this called? I don't know. This is in the new January through June catalog. So this paper is paired with this something about home. Blessings of Home is a stamp set. So these are the papers, and we're using the blue one tonight. And then here's the back of them. All the backs have this kind of gray, whitewashed, kind of shiplap kind of a look on the back. And I really have been having fun lately starting to play with that a little bit. I'll show you something I started, but I didn't finish it. Just using the gray. But we're going to actually use the blue tonight. So let's get that going and get our card done, because I got one more card to show you and one more coloring technique tonight. Okay, then we're going to get this down. Don't you hate to cover up one side of your pattern paper? You're like, oh, that's so pretty too. I hate to put tape on the back and cover it up. So we're just going to go like this with this card, like so. I love my blue flowers. I don't know, I'm impressed with my own flowers. I think they turned out so pretty. Okay, so let me grab, I'm going to grab the Night of Navy ink pad, and I'm going to stamp our greeting. I love this greeting. It says, You are a real blessing to everyone around you. I think that's just really sweet. And I know some people that are that way. I tend to be pretty high-strung. You could probably tell that. So I tend to really gravitate towards people who are kind of calm, you know, a little more calm. They just kind of take life a little easier than I take it. And I always feel like those people are a special blessing that God sends to me because I need somebody like that. Okay, I cut this too short. So if you do that, all you have to do is grab a Post-it note to make your paper just a little bit longer so you can get it in your punch easily. Well, somewhat easily. Get it lined up, kind of centered, like so. This is the postage stamp, postage punch, postage stamp punch, something like that. It's in the annual catalog. And then we'll go ahead and get this down here. I think this needs something else, but I don't know what. And I'll have to think about it and put, I think it needs bling of some kind. You can't have a card without any bling unless it's for a guy. But I haven't figured out what to put on it. I've been looking at it for several days. I made this one about a week ago, and I've been thinking, what else does it need? And I'm just not sure what it needs. But I'll show you. I was thinking around. I was going to say, like I said, you don't have to color these images. Like, I don't have this made, obviously. But I've been just stamping the images and die cutting them. This is in gray. This is in black. Gray and black for these. But here's kind of the outline of a card that I haven't finished. I just haven't decided if I'm going to put that matte on there or not. And then a little of the die cuts. And this is gray. This is just basic gray. And then I'll put a gray ribbon or, you know, something else on it. But you can do this, or you can do something like this, or you can do something in between. But tonight we're talking coloring. So tonight we are coloring. Okay, how do you like that one? Like that Heart and Home Designer Series paper. That's it. Now this is my sample I made, and you can see that I made it a lot lighter. I probably like the lighter one because I like the shiplap part to kind of show through, but I also like the vibrancy of the blue one. Which one do you like better? Do you like the softer one or the bolder one? Let me know in your comments what you guys like. And I'll get the last one ready to go. This has been so fun. I'm so happy you joined me tonight. And thanks for chatting with me. Sometimes on Facebook Live, I think people get so busy watching, they don't say anything. And I'm like, are they still watching? Or did they not enjoy it? So they're like, I'm out of here. This is not cute. Or are they just kind of really watching what I'm doing, so they're not chatting about it? But you guys have been good and chatty, so thanks for chatting with me tonight. All right, the lighter one and bolder one. Oh, and both. So we've got bolder. Okay, well, so good. I think. So you know what I love about this is that you girls like both of them. So this would be, you would be happy to get this one in the mail, or you would be happy to get this one. I think they're both pretty too. I'm usually a pastel kind of girl, but I love the vibrancy of the blue. So I'm with you too. I like both of them too. All right, we're going to go on to our last card. This was my swap card. Our swap cards were based on celebration cards. Any celebration product, so this was mine. I think I'm going to do orange. I couldn't decide between orange and blue, and I think I'm going to do orange. Well, I'm calling this orange. This is pale papaya. So I'm going to grab, let's see. I'm going to use this stamp set. This is another one that's free with a $50 order. And we're going to use the bus. Now, for those of you that are my age or older, which I'm not going to tell you my age, but when I saw this card, I kept thinking of big colored flowers because in the late 60s and early 70s is when I was growing up. And, you know, they had the kind of hippie kind of, always kind of symbols like with the big round flowers, that type of thing. So that's all I could think about when I saw this bus. So I thought I have to make a card with this cute little bus. Not with hair on it though. Let's bypass that. So I'm going to just start doing pale papaya on top of pale papaya. I'm going to do one bus, then I'm going to do another one pretty close to that one. Then I'm going to do one up here on top. Then we're going to do something else in the middle. So now we're going to color again. I'm going to grab my just regular basic white cardstock. Making myself a scrap paper. Sometimes I remember to put scrap paper in, and sometimes in my box, and sometimes I don't. All right, so now we're going to go back to just plain Memento ink, and now we are going to color with our blends markers. And we're going to stamp in Memento Black. You want to make sure you do not use StazOn with your alcohol markers. You will destroy your alcohol marker because the StazOn will melt with alcohol, and then all that StazOn black ink will end up on your beautiful blends markers. So just make sure you're really clear about what ink you're using with your blends markers. That's really critical. Okay, let's go. This guy's had a little bit of a chance to dry, so we're going to go ahead and, well, we'll give him a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and do the greeting on this, and then we've got that part done. So the greeting is going to be driving by just to say hi. Let's go, let's punch this first. So I've got out here my Taylor tag punch. I'm just going to punch the end of this to give it a little bit of a flag on the end. And then we're going to grab our Memento again. And I'm going to stamp this. I'm kind of in the middle on this. It's not perfectly straight, but I'm okay with it. It'll be fine. Okay, so there we go with that one. Flower power. Yes, Karen. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? All those big, bold, pink, blue, yellow flowers that you just saw in everything. You saw it in advertising, saw it in clothing, all of that stuff. Okay, we're going to set this aside, and then we are going to do our coloring. So let's go ahead and grab our blends markers. Now, this is my coloring medium of choice when I'm in a hurry. So, which is most of the time. So usually I am using these colors. And we're going to, let's see, let's start with, those out of the way. Let's start with our pale papaya light. And we're going to, now this is how I usually color something that's big like this. I kind of go to the outside first. And I'm going to go ahead and color this bumper. This is bleeding a little bit. We'll see if it's going to be okay. I have noticed that with the new basic white, sometimes there's a little more bleeding than there was with Whisper White when we had that. And I think actually now that I'm seeing what color this is coming out, I think on my sample I used the darker one anyway, but we'll use the darker one and do some blending. Okay, so yeah, it's bleeding a bit. Hang on, let's try something different. Let me grab, well, we'll leave it, it's okay. But just so you know, sometimes I don't think I didn't notice it on any of my samples, but this particular piece of white is doing it. Okay, now I'm going to grab my darker one. I'm going to go from the back. Kind of gonna do like our girl, like the sun is shining on the front of the bus. And we're gonna go back here. Now when I get in a big space like this, I usually go to my wider end like this. The lighter one goes well with the DSP strip. Yeah, that's pretty true, actually. I'm gonna come back here. You're talking about my my shiplap card, right, Barb? Okay. I think that's why I liked it too. Okay, we're just gonna get an orangier bus here, girls. I think it was too light for what I want, because I keep seeing orange Volkswagen buses when I look at this. I just do. So that's why I thought, okay, we're making an orange bus for my swap card. Now I'm gonna come back up here to do the roof. Now I'm not gonna color this, the bars, whatever that is around the windows, but I am gonna go to my my tires, and for my tires I'm gonna take, this is light smoky slate, I think, yeah, light smoky slate. I'm gonna go in the middle of this, making my hubcaps light smoky slate, and also my bumpers and the tailpipe. Those are all light smoky slate. Okay, then we're gonna take dark smoky slate to the tires. Now the beauty of blends markers is you can see how fast I can color with them. I don't have to use another medium like you do with watercolor. You know, watercolor, you have to have ink of some kind, and then you have to have whatever you're gonna color with. So your water pen or your blender pen or whatever you're gonna color with, you have to have that. So let's go ahead and we'll do the little headlights and the light pale papaya. Now I didn't do this on my original card, but I'm gonna do it on this one. I'm gonna take the light, pool party, I think. Pool party should be, yeah, light pool party. And it is a little darker than I hoped it would be, but it's okay. I didn't like all the windows white on my first sample. You'll see it when I get done with this one. Okay, so that's good. We got that done. Let's go ahead. And now we do have to fussy cut, which a lot of my girls that have, you know, started since we've had dyes are like, you mean I have to cut that out? I'm like, we used to cut everything out. And we liked it. We had fun. Right? Those of us that have been stamping for a while, we didn't have no fancy things such as the Big Shot or the salmon cut and emboss machine or embossing folders. I remember using a light board and brass plates and a stylus to make an embossed pattern on a cardstock. Who's done that? Anybody that's watching? Did you remember when we did that, or did you do it? Have you been stamping that long? I had a light box and I had brass plates with designs in them. And I would sit and use my stylus. Okay, that's cute. Let's keep going here. So I'm gonna take this is definitely a Flower Power bus card. I'm gonna take, this is our in color designer series paper. We do have a pack of this pattern of paper for every color that we have in the annual catalog. So all of the in colors and then and all of our 48 regular colors. This color is called this is an in color, it's called Positive Pink, Polished Pink. Okay, so let's get this on the back. And we'll get this down. Then I'm gonna grab, this is a shimmer. This is our, I should have gotten it out. We have three colors, this all comes in one. No, it's all the in colors. So it'd be polished pink, all that group of in colors we have in this shimmer vellum. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in the camera, but I really think, I forget about using it. And I thought, I'm gonna get out that shimmer vellum and use it. So it's soft succulent, pale papaya, polished pink. Let's see. Oops, we want this on here. Polished pink, soft succulent. What else do we have? Oh, this is Fresh Freesia and Evening Evergreen. It's this year's in colors. Okay, so we've got this cute little bust. So we need to cut some dimensionals and use this. Oh, Kathy, you still have your light box? And see, yes, we did that. That's how that was the only embossing method we had at the time. Okay, that's enough. I don't think I still have mine. I think when we moved here 2 years ago, I think I unloaded a lot of that stuff. Okay, so there's our cute little bust. Okay, then where's our greeting? I'm gonna put this greeting over here. That's been a long time ago, Kathy. You've been stamping as long as I have then. Because that was early on when I started stamping. My biggest thing was to get all the punches. Like I wanted all the round punches, all the square punches, all the oval punches. So you could make layers. That's how we did layers. Okay, we've got one more thing. Okay, so here you flower children of the late 60s or early 70s. This is what I kept thinking of when I saw this card. I mean, this Volkswagen bus. So I thought of these flowers. So they're called loose flower flourishes, and I did all my swap cards with them. So my girls got these for their swap cards. Let's see. This is gonna go down. I'm picking my colors to go on here to make sure I have all the colors covered. And then we want one here, like so. And then we'll take a pink one here. So this bus just made me go back to all those kinds of designs and artwork that we saw at that time when I was growing up. With all the crazy, crazy, crazy colors. All right, I'm gonna grab my liquid glue here for this one. This one feels a little empty. We'll see if there's anything in it or not. Nope, it's not empty. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna put a touch down, and I see it pulled up my other flower. And then a little touch again. And then for this, I'm gonna use my tool, my Take a Pick tool, to pick this up and put it down. So I don't want to smear it, okay? And then a little drop here. Again, I'm gonna use my tool. And then I'll do one here. So these flowers are in the in colors too. So you can see the pale papaya ties in, the polished pink ties in up here, and oh, this glue is just like dripping all over the place. Hang on, I gotta wipe this off because it's just coming out on its own. I don't know what's going on. I don't think I've had that happen before. Okay, I gotta get rid of this glue because it's just coming out by itself. Let me grab my... Yeah, look, it just keeps coming. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm having erupting glue, girls. I don't know. I'm just going to have to set it down. I don't know. I can't get it to stop. I've never had that happen. Okay, so we'll take our last little flower. Don't forget to use this host code when you're ordering. It's the ordering special. You'll get all the parts for these cards. You'll get the 28 card tutorial bundle. You get the tutorial for the 4 I've made tonight. And I will do a drawing. I'm giving away, guess what I'm giving away? So if you have been commenting and sharing, I have an extra pack of these and I'm going to give them away. So that'll be one of the prizes. We might have another prize next week too. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's our hippie van. And then here I did one in this one. But this one I didn't put the pink circle on. This one I did first. This one I did second. So I think if I put the pink circle on this one, I'll just lift that up and put one on. I think it'll be good. Which do you like? Do you like the pale papaya or do you actually like the pool party one? I love both of them. That's one reason I brought in the pool party on the windows, because I kind of wanted to tie all those colors together. Okay, so what do you think? I think they turned out cute. All right, so we've got those. We've got Bonnie's gorgeous card here. We've got our little girls with a butterfly. Also Bonnie's design. And we've got, what's our last card? And then we've got our beautiful flowers, the bold and the subtle, both. So that's our evening of cards. Isn't that fun? I think I'm going to say, you girl, you love the hippie band. Oh, thanks, Jackie. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. This was really fun. I had so much fun with you guys joining me tonight. Thank you so much. It's just, I do a lot of work to prepare, and sometimes I know people don't always know that I'm coming on. So I did a Facebook invite today because I just sent it to those of you who normally do sometimes watch what I'm doing, if you can. And I know people get busy, but I'm going to stay on Wednesday nights. Whoops. I'm going to stay on Wednesday nights for a few weeks. So you can watch for me next Wednesday night as well. And we'll do an online workshop. So I'm going to do this for at least a month, where I'm going to show 3 to 4 cards. And then I'll offer you all the supplies for those cards, plus a PDF tutorial for an order of $35 or more. If you get to 50 or more, obviously you get a celebration as well. Plus you get my 28-page tutorial. So those are my ordering specials, and I'm giving away a pack of watercolor pencils, and I might be giving away something else. I have a new Stampin' Up! Box. I don't know what all I ordered, but I think I ordered a bunch of new embellishments. I wanted to order. Well, initially, when we demonstrators first order, we can only order 2 embellishments, 2 ribbons, 2 packs of pattern paper. So when the catalog goes live, then we can. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. I love you. Then when the catalog goes live, then we can order more embellishments, more ribbon, more paper. We can order as much as we want. So I ordered a bunch. So I'll probably give away 2 things next week as well. And if you're waiting, if you ordered last week and you're waiting on your packet and your tutorials, I'm hoping to get the packets mailed tomorrow. The tutorials are done. They've been done since last week, so they'll go out tomorrow for sure. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for... I'm reading comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it too. I really enjoyed it so much. And we'll do it again. Let's keep doing it. I really, I don't know, I enjoy the online a lot. And with COVID, you know, not going away anytime soon, it looks like anyway. Lord willing, we'll get through this by the end of this year or sooner. But, you know, I think I'll probably be doing more and more online. I saw people coming in, but not too many at a time, and so I think they feel safe and I feel safe. But as far as large groups like I used to have, I'd often have 12 at 1 o'clock and 12 again at 6:30. So we won't be doing that anytime soon. But hopefully, but we can do that online. We can have as many as we want. So I'm going to be back next week with another workshop, a weekly workshop, and we'll be doing this for a while. So thanks so much. Thanks for all the hearts. And I'm looking at, did Bonnie have a question and I didn't see it? Sorry, just checking the comments one more time. Okay. I guess we're discussing travel plans, which may or may not include me. I know Bonnie is coming here next week for a weekend workshop. She's on my team, and we're doing a big event in person for the new catalog. We're doing 3 classes, 12 projects, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Mostly it's my team, but also some of my customers are doing that too. All right, my dear friends, you can tell I'm babbling on. I kind of don't really want to go and leave you, but I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks so much again. I just really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll see you next week, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.